We just say we're playing at a brewery on Saturday.
We are going live right now. We're here for another episode of the Rock Fantasy Files. We took a couple weeks off, but I've got some guys that are local, a band called Sun Voyager, and I've been digging their stuff. I just listened to it, and maybe you guys can tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what's going on, guys. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, man. We're born and raised, grew up in Orange County, New York, where you're based, and we're all from like the Harriman Monroe area. Went to high school together, played hockey together as kids.
Nice. Been buying our bowls and bongs from Rock Fantasy for life. Lifetime members come by for a bowl paper team.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's it.
So let's introduce the guys in the band. Tell us your names. I'm sounding like Dick Clark now, right?
I'm
Stefan. Welcome to the American Bandstand.
Stefan, I play bass.
Kyle played drums.
Yeah.
And Carlos over here play guitar.
Nice. Cool. I was checking out your video. Was that one of your newer videos for the open road?
That's the one that Kachovitz did, right? Yeah.
No, that's the one that did.
Justin.
Yeah.
Some of ours did that. Yeah, a little montage.
Yeah, so we were on tour. I guess this was last year, probably.
No, this was like 2017.
Okay.
End of 2007. No, 2018. We don't have our shit together.
That's drinking,
That's drinking.
It was
I mean, one is drunk,
But our buddy came on the road with us and just took a lot of footage and compiled it all into a video. Just figure open road, get a video of us on the road. Fitting.
I know it was cool, and I dug the vibe, and I thought that, and I was like, oh man, on the road. How do we get on the road again? It's hard to get on the road right now. And but it was I thought it was good. And there was another video I checked out, and I kind of threw this together, so bear with me. There was another video I checked out from you guys. I think it was a few years ago. So you guys have been a band for a little while. It was like you guys playing out in like the woods, and there was like this monkey, like dog-like creature coming out of a cave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's 80s MTV vibes for sure.
Yeah, and that fucking wild dog, he's still out there. So
he's still out there.
It was like a wild dog, and then you had like a bloody baby.
Yeah. No, that place was sick though. It's Camp Bluefields out in Blauvelt, in Rockland.
Okay.
Fucking crazy haunted tunnels and shit. It's like an old military facility that it's just like
oh really?
Completely abandoned, all overgrown and shit, graffiti everywhere. They got these tunnels that are like miles long with no fucking light the entire way, and it's just insane.
Yeah, that
they
guy.
call it the Devil's Hole, the Devil's Pit, or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
The guy that shot that video, real cool dude. He's a freak. He's like a Satan freak. So he knew that. He knew where to go.
It was kind of cool. Yeah, it was a good video. So how long? Like, let's talk about your band and like how long have you guys been a band, and let's tell the viewers a little bit about what kind of music do you play.
Yeah, man. We've been a band for Sun Voyager has been a band for 8 years now. We started back in 2012, and we were a band before that since like 2007, 2008. But kept it going, and the vibes are definitely 60s psych and early 70s metal inspired. We listen to a lot of the psychedelic stoner rock stuff from today, a lot of the desert rock stuff like Queens of the Stone Age and Caius and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we
pull from a lot of different places.
We had an epiphany at a certain point to kind of start working more towards like that Motorhead vibe. Because like when we played live, we'd just be like, we had a couple songs that were a little bit slower, and we just started cutting the fat, and we just realized like you just start at 11 and we end at 11, and just
like Motorhead, AC/DC, definitely for sure.
We got that last album, Besides the Vibes, but we have another one that's coming out soon, and it's just 100%. Just we keep it at 11 the whole time.
And then the one after that's going to
volume
keep it
and
at 11,
tempo.
and the one after that's going to keep it at 11.
Yeah.
Good, good,
We're at
good.
11. We're not coming down.
We started
And,
heavy, and got a little softer, and realized that we have to keep it heavy the entire time.
Got to keep the metal rocking. Yeah, I could hear the psych. And yeah, I thought it was really great. Actually, you know, a lot of our viewers are first time hearing about you guys. And I've talked to them a little bit about, because I was doing some concert series here in Middletown. We were lucky enough to get a little venue, because you know how hard it is to get venues in the city of Middletown. I mean, years ago, Middletown had a great rock and roll and metal history. I mean, a great rock and roll history from the 70s right into the 80s with the fairgrounds, with national acts and clubs in Middletown.
Dude, I remember hearing that Metallica played the fairgrounds. I'm talking about you guys all the time. I always hear that like fucking Metallica played the Orange County Fairgrounds back in the day. And
Well,
like
Metallica played Middletown 3 times. We lost your camera for some reason, guys. You still there?
Well,
yeah. Oh, we got to plug her in.
yeah, we're back.
Metallica, yeah, speaking of Metallica, Metallica played the Orange County Fairgrounds twice. They played on Justice for All tour. They played the Black album, and they played the club. Talking about clubs, there was a club behind Orange County Fair Speedway in the 80s, the 70s, the 80s, and Metallica played there on the Kill 'Em All tour.
Wow.
Dude, I always hear these insane stories of these.
Oh yeah, no. So that's what I mean.
Playing the fairgrounds.
It's really hard to get, you know, to get music going. And we found like Quinn Spins, and they had a little stage. And I was over there one day because I, you know, heavily involved in the pinball business. And we lost you again. They're getting wild over there.
Man down.
And so we were starting to do shows there, and we're thinking of getting you to do a gig there. But of course now with the COVID and everything being shut down, everything's on hold. But hopefully when things get a little bit back to normal, that'd be something we could do. It'll be great to do like a show around here when things get opened up again, and we can all hang out, have a beer, touch people, talk to people, and just get like a festival and get all the local bands to play all types of hardcore and metal and psych rock, whatever, everything all together. I think it'd be great.
Dude, we should do the fairgrounds, man.
Yeah, we can do something at the fairgrounds like that. I mean, I've got some connections with the fairgrounds, and let's see what, you know, the fairgrounds is struggling. They've been forced to close altogether all summer. They were allowed to have drive-in viewing for a while, and that was shut down. That's a whole nother video talking about restrictions. But
we know some bands, we know some organizers that could definitely make something sick happen.
I think that would work out. The fairgrounds is a perfect place to do shows because they have a mass gathering permit and everything in place.
Oh yeah.
That someone didn't know because of the concert. So how did you guys get? What were you guys doing this year, and what's your plans? You said you've got a new album. What's the newest album? And let's talk about what you guys play. And these guys play all. You guys tour nationally, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a bummer this year. It's a total wash. But for us, we actually went into the studio back in January to hash out about 7 songs. And once COVID hit, you know, we couldn't get back down to the studio. I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna build a studio in my garage. And we just kept going. We kept going and kept jamming and kept hashing out new ideas.
Tweaking the sound there, getting the mics in the right place, you know, getting good recordings.
Getting some good recordings. And I mean, the album that we're working on is almost done. We almost have another one written at this point. So, and I think a lot of bands at this time are probably like just cranking out material, cranking out some new material.
There's gonna be a lot of COVID material coming out, dude.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of bands with the loop pedal, unfortunately. There's gonna be a lot.
There's a lot of subjects that can go into the heavy metal genre, and especially the hardcore and the punk genre of what's going on, especially in our country, you know, not to mention anything with the unrest and the politicians and people using viruses as a tool. I think a little bit. I think we're pawns on a chessboard at times.
It's a good breeding ground for some fucking heavy music, though.
Yeah, exactly. You know, especially.
Yeah, but we were supposed to play a bunch of shows, a couple of festivals, and it just stopped. Everything stopped.
Yeah.
And you know, we just kept chugging along, figuring out ways to get together intermittently, and just keep on recording.
Sure.
Kind of what we've been doing this whole time.
And you guys are kind of doing some underground gigs. I don't know if we can talk about it. You said you had one coming up, but I don't know if we can discuss it. But, bands are just, I know I hear a lot about, people playing people's birthday parties and things at people's houses and just getting out and playing some gigs.
I would just say that if you see this video before Saturday and you want to find something to do on Saturday night, just come find us on Instagram or Facebook. Hit us up and we'll tell you where we're going to be.
I like that. I like that. I will have this up. I'll put it up tomorrow for you guys. So yeah, definitely.
Cool.
And I wish I was around because I'd go hang out. There's no reason you can't hang out outside somewhere it's in social distance, listen to music.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And, the beer's gonna be cold, man. So
the beer will be cold.
Definitely.
It'll be fresh.
Beer might be room temperature.
It might have been brewed very nearby.
Yeah. So let's talk about your latest album. Is it the one I'm sitting in front of, the Seismic Vibes?
That's the one.
And where you recorded that? Where?
So we recorded that with our buddy Paul down in Asbury Park.
Okay.
He has a studio. Well, he's got a new studio now, which is totally sick. This studio was sick too. But we recorded the next one there, and just killer vibes. He plays in a great band called the Parlor Mob. His name's Paul Ritchie, and he's just great to work with. Really.
Yeah, and we recorded the drum tracks actually for the album that's coming out at that same studio. I mean, the original plan was to record the whole album, but shit got shut down. So we got these drum tracks that recorded in his killer studio, and then we just did the rest for the next album coming out. We just did it in Merch's garage, just home studio style. So making the best of it, trying to stay busy.
Yeah.
So,
but
who were some of the? Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
no, lots of good vibes down there. We did a lot of experimenting. We learned a lot recording the album, and I think a lot of the experiences that we had down there.
And this album came out, and Seismic Vibes came out when?
2018.
420.
Okay.
420.
Yeah.
On 420, man. That would have been.
Yeah.
We
You
had
know
a
what?
show
I think that might have been the year we were talking about having you play, because I was doing the 420 gig at a Quinn's Pins with the Alice Cooper tribute headlining. That might have been the year. I think it was. I think it had to be.
That was last year, and then we took a gig in Salem, and the freaking mayor of Massachusetts, I don't know his name, the mayor of Massachusetts. Governor of Massachusetts. There's no mayor for a full state. My bad.
Not yet.
The governor of the state, basically it's like Cuomo showed up to our gig, but in Massachusetts.
We played, it was like this underground, metal punk bar in Salem.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden there's a dude, big tall dude standing there, and a couple other guys in some kind of rain jackets. They're looking really stiff. They look like cops.
Sticking out like
Sticking out like a sore thumb. And we're like, who the fuck are those guys? They're like, that's the governor, and those are his that's like state troopers or bodyguards.
They all look like cops.
They all look like fucking cops.
Yeah, I think this is the year they legalized marijuana in Massachusetts too. So he shows up, Stoner Rock gig, basement of this fucking sick venue in Salem.
Yeah.
Not sure if he was high or not, but
he might have been lost. I don't know why he was there.
Yeah, he might have been lost.
That's my question. Why exactly was the governor of Massachusetts coming to your gig? Was he a fan?
I don't know, but he dug it.
His kid must have been there or something. I don't know. His kid probably bartends there. Who knows? I couldn't imagine why he was there.
Well, maybe the governor will show up at your next gig. From this one. That sounds like the story when I saw. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Graveyard from Sweden.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I've seen it 5 times.
I saw them.
Yeah, I saw
with,
my last ever concert right now. Who knows? It might be my last ever. Who knows?
Did you see them on the Uncle Acid tour?
What's that?
Did you see them on the Uncle Acid tour with Uncle Acid and Deadbeats?
I missed that one. I saw them this year on the Opeth tour. They were at the Apollo Theater. It was my last concert. I was at the Apollo Theater. Was my last metal concert. And seeing Graveyard, I'll tell you a story about Graveyard. Several years ago, it was on a Mother's Day, and I had a bunch of people who were going to go with me, and they all kind of bailed out. Oh, it's Mom's Day, I can't go. And I saw my mom earlier in the day, and I drove. It was at Webster Hall, and it was Graveyard headlining with the Spiders, I believe. And as I was there was a hockey game going on in town, and one of my friends got there late. He goes, Steve, did you see who just walked by you? Sort of like your Governor story. There was 2 bodyguards and this guy. It was Jimmy Page.
What?
From Zeppelin was at the Graveyard gig. Went in, was watching.
All that gray hair walk by?
I didn't see it. I had a few drinks, but I didn't notice. I wasn't looking for Jimmy Page anyhow. And then, like, Graveyard on their social media the next morning, it was like, thank you for Sir Jimmy Page for showing up at our gig. And he went and bought vinyl. And another one of our customers from Middletown still has a picture, because I ran into him. I ran into him at the Graveyard gig at Apollo Theater. And he was like, he got a picture with Jimmy Page. But Jimmy went out, was hailing a cab, and he was coming in or having a cigarette. He got a picture with Jimmy Page at the Graveyard gig. So it's kind of like your Governor story.
Unbelievable. But way cooler.
We got a not nearly as cool, but a Graveyard story. They were playing in the city during the winter a couple years ago, and they had 2 shows, and the second one got snowed out.
Wow.
So then, and Mersh and I were living down there at the time, so they did like an impromptu show at St. Vitus, which is like, it's like a small room. It's like a 200-person room.
I'm familiar with St. Vitus, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So it's a small room to begin with, but it was like the city got hammered with this blizzard. So it was like a half-filled room, and we went to that we saw them there.
Yeah, they were supposed to play
it was like
in
50
Maine
people
that
in there. It was in the middle of the blizzard. It was like 50 to 60 people. And just fucking rocked
and
out.
they brought all their fucking gear in there and just
all the amps, everyone.
So I had tickets to see them the next night at Brooklyn Bowl. And seeing them the night before, just they absolutely crushed it that night. And then the following night, it wasn't as good. I don't know if it was the sound, Brooklyn Bowl, the venue, but like something about St. Vitus and just like being in a bar and seeing a fucking band like It's like
that's such a great room.
Yeah, St. Vitus is a magical place, man.
Because it's like there's so many great metal bands that it's like they play all these enormous rooms, and St. Vitus is always like the smallest place they play on their tour. Because it's like these bands that play like 800,000 person rooms, they're like, we're gonna play St. Vitus because it's a great bar, and it's like it's got to be like only 230 people.
Yeah, max.
Well, yeah, because even bands that may be doing bigger gigs in the city will do a one-off there, like Megadeth played there a couple of years ago. Mayhem was playing there, and you get stuff like Joan Jett even will play there.
Dude, they had the pictures. They in the front bar. They had the pictures of everyone that played there, and they did the Nirvana show after they got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
so there's a picture of Dave Grohl on the stage playing drums. You're like, dude, it's fucking. That's
I think that's the night that Joan Jett was there too. Yeah. I mean, it's a great little bar. I hope it survives. I know they had a big fundraiser and they raised a lot of money. So, hey, let's hope by next year, things back to normal a little bit. Gosh,
Yeah. I think they only have one bartender, that long-haired dude, though. So he's probably all right.
that one.
There's a couple bartenders there.
Your guy lives. I think he sleeps there. I don't know.
They got a couple bartenders.
He'll be all right.
So are you guys available to hire to play like backyard parties, birthdays, stuff like that in the Hudson Valley this fall?
Hey man, the rock needs to happen. I mean, we're definitely trying to keep it safe, keep everybody safe. We don't want to put anybody at risk.
Of course.
Yeah, it's no fun to have a show with everyone sitting at tables, but like it can be done.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but you can fucking sit down and have a.
I'm getting old. I have a milestone birthday coming in October. I'm going to be 60 years old, so I think I should have a somehow. We got to find a field somewhere, and we got a couple bands playing. We'll keep you 10 feet away from everybody.
Let's do it.
Let's do it for
We'll
sure.
talk about that, but yeah, we'll see what happens if I can find a place. I know a buddy of mine was having a party up towards Otisville, and he was looking to have All Out War, and they kind of said that they do it, and a couple other bands were going to play his house. So All Out War is a little crazy for social distancing party, but they're good friends of mine too. You know, a little hardcore going on.
Dude, a lot of bands that would kill to play shows right now. It's. I mean,
Yeah,
hell
yeah. Just so you get.
You gotta watch out for the cocktail waitress during the All Out War show. You know, someone walking around just bringing drinks.
You gotta you get out there and play a couple of gigs, you knock the rust off at least while things are crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So what were some of your influences? Maybe we'll start with one of you. You can tell us what your influences were to get you into this hard rock scene and what you grew up and how you got experience into this type of music. Who wants to go first?
Yeah.
You figure, like, I mean, we were in a band back in high school that was like, it was the three of us and one other dude, and I mean, I don't know.
I mean, like, I think I would say, even for myself, like, we talk about all the time, like, our kind of first experience with music and stuff. But I remember when I was really young, maybe 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there, I had, you know, you always have, like, older brothers or someone who, like, brings some shit to you, right? Like, that's kind of, like, the key to get in somewhere. I remember obsessing over the How the West Was Won Led Zeppelin DVD.
Cool.
And just watching that over and over, and just like watching like their charisma, their way they capture their audience and how they play. And so I think I don't want to speak for all of us, but I feel like a lot of us have a lot of that early kind of like 60s, 70s rock influence.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're obviously like, you know, in the 2000s or in the 21st century, and like things are different. So it's like our contemporary version of things that we love and kind of grew up on. It's our, you know, it's kind of like our version of that. And
Sure.
you know, even like the 13th floor elevators, that shit like that, just like those weirdos who like didn't really play by the rules and, you know, just kind of made it out and had some type of success or notoriety in some respects. You know, I think a lot of that, at least for me, I gravitate to a lot of that, like almost part of it's the music, but when you listen to the music, there's almost something behind it too. And you're interested in that story behind it. Like, who are these people? How did they get there? And how did they end up doing this? And, you know, I think, you know, and a lot of that, I kind of gravitate a lot to like a lot of weirdos and shit like that. And I love, you know, learning their stories and how they generate the stuff they did. And, you know, that type of stuff's always been really interesting and compelling to me. And, you know, we do our own version of that, and it sounds like it sounds, you know, it's hard to put your thumb on it like a lot of people would, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just my experience, you know. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think that all of us are big Zeppelin fans. I mean, my first experiences with music were definitely my mother introduced me to the Beatles. My mom was a massive Beatles fan, so like at the age of 5, I all I wanted to do was listen to Beatles tapes and stuff, and I just became obsessed with music from that early age. And I think as time goes on, you know, growing up in the time that we did, you know, you listen to a lot of like punk and metal and stuff growing up, like shit like Rage Against the Machine. Queens of the Stone Age was definitely something that was big when we were in like middle school, high school. I think that was Kyle's first concert.
Dude, yeah.
But you know, we kind of Queens, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you always tell that story. This guy always tells the same stories.
Yeah. That's a great story.
But we went. I mean, you know, diving into a lot of the classic rock, you know, the more well-known people, then even a little bit deeper into the like Budgies of the world, and like Carlos said, the 13th floor elevators, and like and even like a lot of krautrock. We definitely draw from a lot of like Hawkwinds kind of stuff and Can.
Nice.
And
Budgie. That's a good one. Yeah, a lot of people forget about Budgie, and I don't know about Budgie. Yeah.
Dude, I feel like it's like it's like when you're like a teenager, you start getting into all this great like hardcore and like punk and like thrash metal and shit. So it's like we're always trying to like channel that, but then it's like going back to when you were young. And,
Yeah.
Because I mean, like you were saying, like Zeppelin and shit. And it's like go back. It's like what was the music I was listening to when I was really young? It's like going back to like Zeppelin and like fucking Deep Purple and like I would always get like these fucking albums, or either I'd get them or my pops would buy them for me. It'd be like fucking like
Don't tell your mother.
yeah, like those early Aerosmith albums, like Gems.
Oh, yeah.
Oyster Cult and
Oyster Cult's amazing. Yeah.
and it would be like that's good stuff. You know, so you listen to those. So it's like when you got that bass when you're young, and then you start and you get older, it keeps getting heavier. But then when you're writing these riffs, it's like you just to be able to go back. It's like, dude, just go way back. It's like, what would they do? Fucking like go way back. What would Zeppelin do?
And,
you know, what fucking
and like everybody talks about like Back in Black and Agents of Fortune and stuff, but once you get into like the deep cuts, where AC/DC with Let There Be Rock, like that album, it's just like
Great stuff.
nonstop fucking bangers the entire time.
We're trying to play a lot of AC/DC cards lately. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Blue Oyster Cult's like City
drum-wise,
Some Flame with rock and roll
ride.
and Dominance and Submission and Deep Purple, Fireball, and like, Speed King.
Yeah.
Especially because it's Deep Purple, it's like I feel like it's like we don't have a fucking wicked synth player, so we're not taking that road.
Yeah, you need a synth.
All the other stuff, you know what I mean? It's like all right, if Deep Purple didn't have a synth player and they were still gonna write like a 5-minute long song, it's like just.
So you guys are in the market for a Hammond organ player.
Yeah, you always are. Yeah,
Always.
And you can't forget like Black Sabbath, of course. I grew up from that era, so I was a teenager in those years. So that's how old I am. As I already let everyone know how old I'm going to be this year. And my influences. I grew up on soul music and Soul Train and Top 40 AM, which in the 60s and 70s was a mixture of anything from the Allman Brothers to, to
Hell yeah.
everything. And I was listening to a lot of R&B, and one of my best friends, one of his sister's boyfriends, was like, "Why are you listening to that crap for?" And he gave me these 8 tracks to come home with, and it was a Black Sabbath Paranoid. It was Alice Cooper's School's Out. It was like Boston Turner Overdrive. And here I am now in rock fantasy, but I still like everything. But from the 70s especially, I still listen to a lot of the Motown and stuff like that when I'm hanging out at home. But it's great to have all these influences. But yeah, growing up back then, I mean, another guy that was a lot forgotten from the 70s was Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush. One of the first big shows I ever saw was at the Meadowlands Arena. It was headlined by Aerosmith on the Rocks tour. I think it was Rocks tour, and it was Ted Nugent as direct support, and it was Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush, and it was Journey. They were the opening act. So it was '78, and it was like that Monsters of Rock tour split off.
Journey's one of the bands that has like they got like some killer early deep cuts. Right? I don't listen to that much Journey, but. They're like one of those bands that have like the classic like first 2 albums were fucking shredding, like. Yeah,
but and what happened with like Journey then? I mean, was broke off from Santana, like so it was the main hub came off of Santana and started doing Journey, and of course Journey turned into the giant arena rock band in the '80s,
Yeah, Santana had a great band back in the day, dude. I mean that classic Woodstock.
And Neil Sean and
I've got that on DVD. What is it, Mitch Mitchell and
no, Mitch Mitchell was Hendrix drummer. That really young guy that blasts that drum solo for
oh God, I'm brain dead tonight on that one. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's fucking that's killer.
Yeah, I love Santana. Every time they come around, I still go to see Carlos anytime he comes around, and all that goes with any of the classic rock bands. When at Bethel Woods or PNC every year, they're like, how many times have you seen that band? I'm like, well, how many more times am I gonna get to see them? I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Dude, I felt we talked about that with that. I mean, I know fucking Ozzy had like a couple like goodbye tours, and it was always like, dude, the tickets are so expensive, but it was like, I mean, I've never seen him, but I regretted it every time he came anywhere near to the fucking the New York area, and I was always the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
And I just
yeah. I
feel bad.
agree. And I tell you,
uh,
the Black Sabbath farewell tours were great. A lot of people didn't want to go because Bill Ward wasn't there, but man, I saw Black Sabbath at the PNC on that final tour, and it was funny because I was sitting with some friends of mine that are another local band, Coheed and Cambria. We're sitting like we just popped in next to each other, and there's Coheed, and we're watching this together. And I mean, I was really putting it together.
Those are they're from like Nyack, right?
Yeah, they're from, and I used to practice right in Middletown at that classy at the Fort Knox building.
Okay.
And everyone thought that like they'd see a tour bus coming in, and everybody said, "Ah, it's Jimmy Sturr." And I used to tell Claudia would come in my store, and at first he didn't let me know who he was. I'm like, "Dude, you look familiar." And I'm like, "You're the guy from Coheed." He's like, "Yeah, I am." You know. And I'm like, I told him, I said, you know, everybody thinks that tour bus is Jimmy Sturr. Because Jimmy Sturr was the only guy in this. Jimmy Sturr, the Polka King, was the only guy around here that had a tour bus.
He's still around here.
He is still around. Yeah, I actually had like a holiday dinner with him earlier in the year. I have mutual friends, and of course my good friend Chris Caffrey, who plays in Sabotage and TSO, lives in Goshen, and he plays with Jimmy Sturr a lot. Moonlights with him over the summer months usually.
nice.
So what else do you guys want to add to this tonight about you guys? Because we've been talking about everything. We're like hanging out, talking about everything. That's usually how the Rock Fantasy Files shows go. I'm not a professional interviewer, but it's fun.
That's it. We're not a professional band at all.
How can we find your music? Let's say, hey, I want to check this guy's out. I want to buy a record. I want to get some shirts. Where can we find them? Do you sell them online?
Yeah, no, we're everywhere you can find us. I mean, we're on Bandcamp. You can buy merch on Bandcamp. We're on iTunes. Well, I guess iTunes is no more. Apple Music, Spotify.
We got one hitters too, dude. We got one hitters that say Sun Voyager.
Yeah. You do.
We got little dugouts.
We'll have to drop some of those off for you.
Yeah, so let's work a deal, and you guys come up and see me in the next couple of days, and let's get some of your music in Rock Fantasy, and I'll sure play the vinyl when I'm at work, and we can.
We got the new album. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna press it because I think we're self-releasing the next album.
Okay.
So fucking, putting it on vinyl, it's a lot of scratch. We might not. I don't know.
Well, we're trying to figure. We have to figure it out. We have to finish. We have to finish the album. Let's not.
Yeah,
once you put it on the back. Yeah.
But you have.
As sick as it would be to just release, just put it out. Just put it out, free. Have it. Yeah, I mean, you gotta test the waters, right?
Yeah. A lot of people are putting out a couple songs. I know, right now. Like, well, we'll put one song out.
A year ago, we put out a Budgie cover. Actually, we covered "Crash Course in Brain Surgery," and TP Records put that out. So
cool.
I mean, we had a blast covering Budgie. Because
Nice.
I feel like our sound, we just naturally drifted to a Budgie type sound and heard Budgie, and we were like, we got to cover a Budgie song.
Dude, we were down with our buddy Paul Ritchie. He opened a new studio. It wasn't like a basement, and he opened a new studio, and he invited us to come down and check it out. And we were like, dude, we're not just gonna come down and check it out. We got to record something. So we recorded a fucking Budgie cover, just a one-off.
Which Metallica covered. Metallica covered.
Yeah, you can't drive all the way down to Asbury and not lay something down. So we laid down the cover and fucking.
Yeah, I saw that on your Facebook page. How you had the Crash Course in Brain Surgery. Yeah. That's cool. And that's really cool that you guys are into Budgie, because a lot of people don't even know who they are. That's cool.
Yeah, man.
And so you got some vinyl. You're going to bring up the Rock Fantasy. So by the time you guys see this, you can probably come buy some. Maybe if someone wants to come up in the next day or two. From where are you guys now? Are you in Monroe now? Is that where you're at?
We're a little bit all over. Mersh is down in Jersey. He's in Ramsey. I'm in Washingtonville. Just moved in. Got a new place.
Okay,
nice.
That's where you're at tonight. You're in Washingtonville.
Yeah, and Carlos is in Newburgh. So,
okay, so you guys are all around. Cool.
Yeah, we're kind of all around right now.
So remember, check these guys out on their social media page and send them a message on Saturday. If you guys want to go out and see a live band, I think you're going to really enjoy what I've heard about this little secret gig they're playing. I think it's a good time. you can do this safely. I've been to Seaside Heights. I've been to dirt track races every Saturday down in Jersey, and the rates really haven't been going up down there. You keep your distance. You put the mask on when you get close to somebody. I think you can do it safely.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, if you can go to Walmart and buy shit every week or Home Depot and you're inside there, I think it's probably safer to be outside checking a band out or checking out some.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Exactly.
Like that. I know there was a place in Warwick that's been doing a band on a Wednesday night, and they have a car show going down there. It's a Blue Arrow Farm, I think.
Yeah, I saw it even, by me. They've been doing like a farmer's market, and they got like a fucking.
Yeah, I think
They
that's.
got some guys. They got some jackass with a fiddle out there, fucking playing like all day. So it's fine. It's the same thing.
You know, we gotta do what we gotta do, because this could go on for a while, and we have to entertain ourselves some, or we'll all go crazy. I'm disappearing into the seismic vibes. Look at, I'm leaving.
Very cool. Very cool.
Once in a while, you can see my blacklight posters in behind me. See,
Dude, sick.
Yeah, it's dope.
I'm in a blacklight room. So I guess we can wrap it up. And thanks for coming on. And I'm not the most professional guy right now. And it's 2020. It's really hard to get motivated over a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean, we should do it again. We should do it again when the album's coming out, dude.
we're always down to shoot.
Whenever you want to do it. And maybe we'll get a couple more gigs somehow, some safe gigs. I talked to the fairgrounds in the beginning of the year. I said, why don't you guys get some local bands and just let them play the drive-in and give the money to like first responders or food bank or something like that. They didn't want to go for it, but I thought that was just a great idea that people could do, even a drive-in theater wanted to do it or something, something like that.
Yeah.
It would be good promotion for everyone, giving back, All right. Well, this wraps up Rock Fantasy Files and my guest, Sun Voyager. It's great to have a local Orange County or Hudson Valley band on. And hopefully we get to see you live one day soon and check out their stuff and buy some shirts and records or whatever you got to do. All right. Rock on. Please subscribe to my channel if you're watching. A lot of people watch, don't subscribe. And you're not going to know if I do another one if you don't subscribe unless you go through Facebook. And hit like, comment if you know the guys. I like it. And
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button, dude.
Smash the like button. Sun Voyager. Seismic vibes. Rock on. All right. Am I done recording? Where is it?
We got a hot mic.